Good morning, everybody. It's Bear with BearIndependent.com, and this morning we are talking about Oklahoma proposed firearms legislation. Literal hundreds of emails and text messages in the last 24 hours. Thank you, those of you who have reached out. However, let's not set a precedent that every time we want Bear to shoot a video, we just swamp him with myriad hundreds of emails, because my life gets a little complicated that way. I think literally over 200 links to the guns and gadgets video on this I've received in the last 24 hours. So thank y'all for looking out, but I got it, okay? So let's go over this really quickly, because there's some points I want to make based upon conversations that I've had with people that I know in this state. Oklahoma proposed firearms legislation, likely retaliatory based upon the permitless carry, based upon the fact that Bloomberg was here just a couple weeks ago. HB House Bill 3357 removes permitless constitutional carry, nullifies you needing no permit to have a weapon on you in the state of Oklahoma. House Bill 2939 establishes basically gun-free zones, schools, government properties, all the usual places that you would see a gun-free zone. House Bill 2040 means or aims to make sure your ammunition is at least 60% lead. I think the reason for this is because of things like steel core penetrators and AP rounds. I don't know that, but that's just where my head goes on that. And then establishes a 10-round limit, which makes these illegal. And then House Bill 2945, the assault weapons ban. Now, I reached out to my state House representative yesterday, offered them an opportunity to get on the record. They laughed, which is interesting. I'll tell you this, in the big scheme of things, I'm nobody. And so good on them for being busy governing. They were very polite. I said, hey, my name's Bear, I'm from the internet. Do I have an opportunity to talk to Representative so-and-so? And they said, he's actually working right now. Can he get back to you? That was yesterday. Hasn't gotten back to me yet. I don't fault the man for that because he's busy. Although I would love to hear from their office, because as I told them, I'd like to see where they stand on the record on these issues. Oklahoma House Representatives, Google it, or ask Jeeves it, or whatever your favorite, neo-pioneering way of being spied on by alphabet soup agencies is. Just pick one, research it. It's pretty quick. In fact, there's a governmental website. You just put in your address and it'll tell you who your representative is if you don't already know. I'm not going to copy out all that here because you guys aren't going to write it down from here anyway. Just Google it, okay? So these are the proposed bills here in Oklahoma. Let's talk about some things. I believe, well, first of all, that, but then I also believe that this is a diversionary tactic. Diversionary, big word. It's the word of the day. A diversionary tactic, and that this is virtue signaling to the handful, as one brother put it, the 23 liberals in the state. This is virtue signaling. I frankly do not believe that this is going to pass. I did tell the very nice lady at the House Representative's office that if this goes any further in the state of Oklahoma, I would not be surprised if the turnout meets or exceeds that of what we saw in Virginia. Because there's, and we'll get to this, but there's no blue here, unlike Virginia. I think this is virtue signaling. Bloomberg was here a couple weeks ago, and now all of a sudden we have all of this introduced. How interesting. And I think it's a diversionary tactic. Diversionary to what? I don't know, but pay attention. Because now we're all talking about this. We're all looking at this hand. We're all looking at this hand, and then that comes out of nowhere. So eyes wide open. In 2008 and 2012 and 2016, and maybe back before that, I didn't go back and check, but I remembered this stat in 2008 from a talk that I had with a rancher as I was installing a wind turbine on his property. He said, 2008, there wasn't a single county in the state of Oklahoma that voted for that Hussein Obama. I said, no, I didn't know that. He goes, not one county. And that always stuck with me. And so I went and researched it, and not one county in 2008 or 2012 or 2016, any of those presidential elections, not one county was blue. Not one county. We hear all the time about this whole Texas versus Oklahoma thing. Not one county. Not one county. So, understanding that brings me back around to here. This is a diversionary tactic. This is virtue signaling. This is trying to get us all spun up. I have it on good authority from several different people that I've spoken to already in the last 24 hours, people that I know, and people who have contacted me via email, that the law enforcement and judiciary will not comply with this. They simply won't do this. There's actually a pre-filed law in the state of Oklahoma right now making it a felony to enforce any type of federally stipulated red flag law right now. Whether you're a law enforcement officer, a member of the court, whatever, you will be charged with an Oklahoma felony if you try and enforce a red flag law. Now, this is pre-filed. It's a proposed legislation. It's not passed yet, but that's the direction that Oklahoma is naturally moving in. Oklahoma passed permitless carry. 1 November 2019, I believe it was legal to carry a firearm without a permit in the state of Oklahoma. We're now pre-filing laws that say not only can you permitlessly carry, but if you try and enact a red flag law in Oklahoma, that'll be a felony. And so I see this as pushback. This is pushback to that. Okay? And again, I have it on good authority that law enforcement and judiciary simply will not comply with any of these laws. And then I have one brother who is a law enforcement officer who I was texting back and forth with yesterday, who made the point, and it's a great point, and it's the point that I'm going to end with, because I haven't had much sleep this morning, and this video doesn't need to be 46 minutes long. Americans need to see these policies fail. Americans need to see all of this go up for vote, and all of this be utterly destroyed. America needs to see that. Oklahoma would do well to completely outright reject all of these bills, as I believe they will. And I honestly believe that if this goes any farther forward from just theory, Richmond, Virginia will be nothing compared to the turnout that we see in Oklahoma. Taking nothing away from the Patriots in Richmond. I'm taking nothing away from that at all. In fact, I had one idiot was like, Bear, noticed you weren't at that Richmond, Virginia thing. I guess we really know who you are now, don't we? And I was like, noticed you weren't over here helping me plan a mission to save victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. So I guess we really know that you're a pedophile now by your flawed logic. What? Anyway. Americans need to see these policies fail. They need to see the outright rejection of this nonsense. And I firmly believe they will in the state of Oklahoma. And until we have something more to talk about than proposed legislation and conjecture, this is where the conversation ends now for me. Eyes wide open, people. Responsible, We're not fear-mongering, no doomer porn. We're not overreacting. This is not chaos actual. This is not even potential chaos like Virginia was. Oh my gosh, the trap at the Capitol in Richmond. All the patriots are going to go in there, overlapping fields of fire. None of that happened. Potential chaos in Richmond. This isn't even potential chaos. It's certainly not it's certainly not chaos actual. So we've got our eyes on it. I firmly believe it will be outright rejected by the people of Oklahoma. And if it's not, we will deal with it accordingly. Shalom and blessings, y'all. Bear out.